Hey guys, you are listening to Benzinga's Pre-Market Prep, sponsored by MarketFi. I am Brianna Valesky here with Joel Elconin. We've got Jerremy Newsome on the line. He's the CEO of Real Life Trading. Jeremy, thanks for joining us again. How are you doing this morning?
My absolute pleasure. I'm doing phenomenal. I do have one super small update for you guys. I turned 27 2 weeks ago.
Oh,
No, I literally had that thought when you said, like, right when before we brought you on the show. I'm like, I wonder what his birthday is. So, all right, we'll have to
Yep,
make a
May
note
2nd.
to update your profile then. Oh, happy belated
Yeah.
birthday.
yeah. The 20.
Thanks, guys. Thank you.
The 26 puts go off the board worthless. I am buying. I am buying. I am buying the Jeremy 27 calls. I am all over.
There we go.
Okay, go ahead, Brianna.
All right, so Jeremy, crazy news in lumber liquidators this morning. CEO is stepping down. I think they've mentioned that their CFO was leaving, but this seems to be potentially the biggest biggest shakeup in management so far since all of this has been happening. Have you been watching the stock this morning? What are your thoughts on it?
It's really interesting you asked me about lumber liquidators. I was looking to tiptoe bullish back in March, and I just never got any good bullish signals. No good gaps, no good candles. So ironically enough, yesterday, about 17 minutes before market close, I actually got triggered in bearish at 25.29 on lumber liquidators because it looked really bearish on the hourly chart. So I went in, I got in bearish. So this news to me is actually kind of awesome, and I will be looking to day trade it probably about an hour and a half after market open, because like you said, there's some big, giant selling candles coming in on lumber liquidators. I think it's very unique that the CEO resigned. I mean, I would too if I was in this position probably. But, pre-market, a lot of activity, a lot of candles, and about an hour and a half, like, I want something to shake out, all the buyers to step in and think, oh, man, this is an awesome deal, they buy it up a little bit, and I look for an afternoon rollover of some kind. But, man, I think it was Dennis earlier who was mentioning it might go to zero, or maybe Joel.
I tongue-in-cheek, I said that. Jeremy, let me ask you a few questions here.
Yeah.
First of all, you said, you were in March, you were trying to get bullish in it, and, you just waited. You didn't get any signals. What did you get yesterday in particular that, standing on the lows of the move, muted price activity, consolidation? What would, because that's a mark of a good trader. If you could be wanting to be bullish something and then being able to say, okay, this is not only am I going to stay with this on the long side, but it is a potential short. What was the trigger for you?
The trigger, so the gap down on the 29th of April was definitely a very, very bearish gap because that just proved to me that there was no significant buying pressure coming on the stock. And that gap took out everyone who was like me and who did think that lumber liquidators could bounce. Because long term, I mean, $30 is a very strong support, So the 29th, that candle, Joel, when it gapped down, I was like, ooh. So that's kind of what started it. And then the 12th of May, that gap also, man, I was like pre-market. I was like, why is it doing that? It's kind of wild. And then we got a really good bullish candle on the 19th. And I was like, okay, maybe this is it. I'm still looking for some type of interesting pop or gap. And then yesterday, it just said, nope, I'm gonna lower. So I was like, man, that's very interesting. So I went to the hourly chart, and I noticed on the hourly, Joel, you had some pretty interesting bearish, kind of slight bearish gaps, nothing massive, but on the hourly chart, you had some white candles yesterday, and we got sold off yesterday, and it just kept selling and selling. So it was breaking some strong lows. And like I said, 25.29 was my bearish entry, which was below the low of, below the low of the opening candle on the 19th, which was 2 days ago, I think now. 2 days ago. So just below the lows, just barely. And this is, purely, man, this is just a coincidence, this gapping down. I thought it was maybe down 20 cents. This is just total coincidence. So I'm not that good. I promise I'm not a wizard.
Okay.
It looked bearish to me.
So what makes you wait that hour and a half? You don't want to mess with the big boys. You just want to wait for your candles to align. What makes you do that?
Yeah, with lumber liquidators in general, and this is just specifically for LL, Joe, that's a phenomenal question, man. It's down pretty hard, right? I think 13% or something. So that big of a gap, I mean, 13%, you're totally right. I need some candles to align. A lot of the, I would say active day traders, if you will, they use a lot of moving averages, right? They short off of moving averages on different time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 10 minute, those type of things. And there's not going to be any moving averages on lumber liquidators for a good 20, 25 minutes because of the size of the gap, even on a 1 minute chart, right? I mean, if you use like an 8 exponential moving average, which is really popular, or 10 exponential moving average, or a simple moving average, even on a 1 minute chart, there's going to be no moving averages around lumber liquidators for about a good 10, 17 minutes on a 1 minute chart. So if you're looking at a 5 minute, all the moving averages are going to take about an hour, hour and a half to get down, 13%. It's going to take a little bit of time. So that's really, I guess, to answer your question, is probably why I'll wait that long on lumber liquidators, because it's about a 13% gap. But Best Buy, on the other hand, as I think Best Buy is gapping up right now, I think due to earnings. Is that right, Joel?
That is correct. Yep. And, we were looking at this thing at the top of the show, and it looked a little bit overdone. Now it's coming back. So are you looking to buy this one?
Yeah, I actually am. Based on this gap, this is a pretty bullish gap, but it really does need to open above 35.70. That's kind of my line in the sand, which is the 200 simple moving average on the daily. At least my chart, I have it as 35.66. So we've got to get above that price for me to like this bullish. But yesterday, kind of looks like a bearish confirmation candle. We have a little bit of a head and shoulders pattern on Best Buy on the daily chart. And I love the pre-markets that you have up there right now. If it breaks that 35.60-ish support, I'm not going to really mess with Best Buy that much. But so really, for me to like this bullish, if it opens above 35.70, I'll be watching it all day for a good location to buy, because that is a pretty nice gap. If it opened above 37.50 or 37.70, I would close my eyes, LeBron James layup, buy that thing in the morning. But it's not, so I'll leave it alone.
Just real quick before we go to our next issue, I know you're an active day trader. I mean, do you trade long term as well?
I do, yeah, absolutely. I actually trade all time frames, as crazy as it sounds. I love the market, man. So I mean, I'll active day trade, but I'll trade things from 2 or 3 weeks. But about a week ago, well, not a week ago, 3 or 4 days ago, I bought September puts on El Pollo Loco. El Pollo Loco.
Okay.
So so it's kind of longer term, I guess, right? So I'll do 3-4 months, and then I'll do the long term stuff. Absolutely. I mean, 5, 10, 20 years. I'm 27, so I got to say to myself, I got to have some type of retirement when I'm like 50, 60. So I got to put something, in a longer term account for sure. Absolutely.
Talk about this El Polo Loco setup here, what you did, and looks like you're being paid, or you're already out.
No, my target's about 19 on El Pollo Loco, actually. So the gap on earnings, as you know, man, I'm just a giant gap fan. And the reason I am such a big gap fan is because they scare people, right? I mean, that's the thing, is people don't know how to react. You're a normal investor. So let's say it's, Mike. Mike is working, he's the CFO of an insurance company, and he works really hard every single day, and he dabbles in the market. He buys things on a whim. And he comes home after a long day of work, he's sitting down, he's drinking his martini, and he's pulling up the Yahoo Finance charts or whatever. He sees El Pollo Loco. He bought it at 28 or whatever, and now it's at 25, and he's down $3. He's losing 15% on a $20,000 investment. He's upset, so he just pushes the sell button and walks away. Well, that is what I would honestly say is probably 70 to 80% of the driving factor behind gaps. Is just your normal average investor, and that's how they react. Is if they're up hard or they're down hard, they sell emotionally. And so on El Pollo Loco, that was the 15th. So when that gap happened on the 15th, I was like, you know what? This can go either direction. If it moves below 24.40, I'm buying puts. And so I bought 12 $25 strike September puts, and I have a target for about $19. 21, 23, I will probably take half of my position, so 6 puts. I'll take those off the table, and then $19 or so, I'll just exit the rest. But I got plenty of time So I'm just sitting back
What
and
did you do?
relaxing.
What strike and what strike and what month?
25 strike for September.
So you paid the premium, huh? And because when you bought it, it was under. You went right into money there. So not afraid. You didn't put on a spread or anything like that, right? You just went straight.
I did, yeah, because you know me, so it's kind of rare for me to just go directional options. It really is. I truly probably do 3 or 4 months, maybe.
Oh,
I do a
okay.
lot of spreads though, but yeah, I went out and just straight up puts, man, just bought them.
Okay, great
Had
for
to.
you. Okay, so let's see what the Jeremy is going to do in net tap, NTAP.
Net tap. Let me get that bad boy pulled up really quick because that's an interesting one. There's a lot of people have been talking about that. Let me see. Is it moving at all after hours?
Oh yeah, got flushed on earnings, man. I'm surprised this is not.
NTAP.
Yeah, not. Are you gonna be the axe in this stock today here, trading down into pre-market 430?
Oh,
What do you think about it?
31. Wow. This is actually the first time I looked at it today, so give me about 7 seconds. I'll tell you.
Okay.
Um, Man, the fact that it broke 33 on a daily chart, wow, it is down at 30. Yes, I'll be looking to short this at some point today. Again, very, very similar with lumber liquidators, though. It's a strong gap, right? I mean, it's down. I like the terminology that you use, slosh. It's down far. So that 31 level, it's $4 over 10%. I'm going to be waiting about the same time frame on lumber liquid, like I said on lumber liquidators, about an hour and a half. I'll see some things shaking up, and I'll probably look to short it on the downside because that gap, man. There's really not much stopping NCAP down to like at least 29 and some change. There's on a daily chart. There's nothing. There's nothing there.
So do you go about it? Do you take like a couple stabs at it? You wait the time, and like you short it, you get stopped out. You short again. When do you kind of say, I'm done with this stock today?
That's a good question, man. I have a trading plan that I try to very vigorously follow as much as possible, and my plan is I can only lose on 2 trades on any given day, and if I lose more than 2 trades, I'm out for that day. Actually, so if I place any stock, any trade at all for a day trade, if I lose on the first trade, I'll try it again. If I lose on the second trade, I'm done for the day. So I'm really the answer would be 2. So if I lose on NTAP the first try, I have one more shot. And if I'm wrong, I can't get emotional because you get emotional, you lose money every time. All right, no revenge trades. Right, don't go back to the X, that whole thing. Just move on, and I'll wash my hands and go the next day. I'm actually going on a total break. Friday tomorrow begins a little bit of a vacation for me through the rest of the month of May. So I won't be today will be my last trading day until June.
Yeah, where are you going?
I'm taking a cruise with some friends in Mexico.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
Yeah,
you
yeah.
you be careful there, Jeremy. What?
I will. I will.
Celebrating that birthday. Come on, Brianna. I look out for all you kids and stuff. All right. So let's get away from the day trading stuff here. Do you have anything in working long term here, either working for you or working against you?
Great question, man. Netflix is working long term. Last time we chatted, I loved how bullish you were last time that we chatted. I hope you bought something on Netflix. Netflix to 700, sure, let's go. Any kind of pullback survival on Netflix, sky's the limit. I mean, it is Google 2013 all over again. I mean, it's going to do the same thing. So actually, I'm calling a reverse split. I'm sorry, not a reverse split, a split on Netflix. If it follows suit on Google, I think they will. So I'm thinking about a year and a half, Joel. Netflix is probably going to have a split of some kind. Especially if it hits 700, I think it's almost a guarantee. So Netflix long is good. Amazon, you guys and Dennis were talking about that one yesterday. It looks very, very nice. I'm actually in 3 spreads on Amazon. I got a 415, 410 expiring Friday, a 405, 400 bullput spread expiring Friday, and then a 400, 395 bullput spread expiring in June. So I got those, but Amazon looks really, really nice. My longest term, and for me, longest term is about 5 years at the moment from investing. Let's just a retirement trade. Is Seadrill, ticker symbol SDRL.
Ooh, that's
Seadrill.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a cheap one, so I like that, but it's a good energy company. I mean, very similar to Rig. They have really good numbers. It's down around the $12 range, and earnings are approaching. So I'm looking if Seadrill gaps down, really kind of at all, $11, $10, even $9. I'll buy it because longer term, oil's not going anywhere, Joel. Right? Oil is going to be around 5 years from now. I mean, it's not going to vanish. So companies like this, they're forming a decent bottoming pattern on a weekly chart. Longer term, you're buying oils, you're buying energies, at least in my opinion. I think that's a good call. So Seadrill as a longer term for me, 1825 is almost when will we hit that target for me? Like it will happen. I just don't know when. And then from there, I'll scale out a little bit, but then 34, 36, 2-3 years from now, I think it's totally a possibility. So longer term, I love Seadrill.
And anything you're bearish?
Bearish. Well, I'm semi-bearish on Twitter until it gets to about 35, and then I might look to buy. But if Twitter can't take out 35, then 30 on Twitter. I mean, that's semi-bearish, and that's $6 points lower. Lumber liquidators, as of today, I'm bearish on. Long term though, man, that's a really good question. I don't have anything on my radar for a long-term bearish play. I know for a fact that you and a bunch of other people were talking about that PBMD, right? You guys had to, I'm sure.
Yes, yeah. Do you get involved in that at all or not?
I didn't know, man. I didn't. I had two traders that did. Giant shout out to Peg and Jarrett. Both of them bought around 1 and sold at 5. And I'm not that good, man. Those guys just murdered it. But PVMD, it's down a little bit today. I'm looking. It's very like Dennis said. This is super speculative, flash in the pan type of trade. I'm looking to buy it around 4. I'll have a stop around 3, and I'll probably sell around 6 or 7. So I'm trying to risk $1 to make about 2 or 3. And that's really all I'm going to do on PBMD. I'll just get in, get out, try to make $2, and I'll move on. But yeah, man, long-term bearish, I can't think of anything specific, truly, other than Twitter. Twitter is probably my most bearish of the big names out there. Some of these food companies, Joel, are blowing my mind, right? Buffalo Wild Wings, Chipotle, Panera, El Pollo Loco, Shake Shack. Joel, I was so upset on Shake Shack. Oh, this ruins me. I wanted to short it so badly on the day that it opened on earnings. From the second it opened, I wanted to short it, and it was not shortable. So I think that's what's causing it to go higher is people couldn't short it.
We talked about that.
Just keep running.
Yeah, we talked about that with PBMB, that there wasn't a locate out there, so that's definitely a factor.
Yeah.
All right, we've been on the line with Jerremy Newsome. He's the CEO of reallifetrading.com, 27-year-old trader, and pretty good at it, too. His favorite movie's Forrest Gump as well. We always got to throw that in. Jerremy, it's always a pleasure talking to you, and we'll be chatting with you real soon, I believe.
Thanks, Jerremy.
Yeah, my pleasure. You're welcome, Brian. Thanks, Joe. Have a great day. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend, guys.
And you behave on that vacation.
You got it, brother. Have a great day, man.
Okay.